Hi, I'm in front of my house. I've just collected some wild vegetables. It's quite cold. It's a cold turn of March and April. Anyway, I had to do something. I'm self-isolating, like probably most of you in Europe, fighting against the coronavirus. And I think it's a nice time to experiment with something new for you. And I recommend trying to save some wild vegetables for winter or for autumn. We often don't do it, just collect what's fresh. And actually, these are nettles and ground elders which I collected. I have a nice tray which I got in Laos, but very similar ones you can find them in China and other Asian countries, and they serve the purpose of drying small amounts of wild vegetables and flowers like daylilies and mushrooms. And they are very easy to use because you can just carry it somewhere and just put it outside the house, in the house, depending on the temperature and weather. And in parts of China, especially in the north where the winters are colder, people dry a lot of wild vegetables. It's a very ancient technique of preserving food. And if you dry things, of course, you lose vitamin C and a lot of antioxidants, but you are independent from electricity. Yeah, if something goes wrong with your electricity, your fridge goes off, if you freeze things, you are in trouble. And here, if you store them dry in the attic, you are okay. And in China, in some parts of China, I have seen families drying dozens of kilograms of wild vegetables, like goosefoot, Chenopodium, and many other species. This is also in Tibet. They dry nettles, like me here. It was also practiced in Belarus, in the present territory of Belarus at the end of the 19th century. We have a publication by Federowski who wrote about people drying things like ground elder and nettles and other wild vegetables, like also hogweed. And then these vegetables were added to soups. In Kamchatka also people dried hogweed stalks, which become very sweet when dried for winter. So it's a very ancient technique, very safe. Another way of preserving wild vegetables is just putting them in jars. This is from the last year, dead nettle, Lamium maculatum, which I collected near the river, and I haven't. There are some jars that I haven't used. I boil them and then put them in jars and pasteurize them. And I always put a few spoons of vinegar, because it's very important that these vegetables are sour. Otherwise, botulism can develop, and botulism, the toxins are very easy to destroy by cooking, but it's very difficult to destroy the actual spores, the actual bacteria, which are in a special state when they are very resistant from like boiling, and you would have to like bake them in the oven to kill them. Temperatures below, I think, 118 centigrades, they are not working. So another way of preserving wild vegetables is lactofermenting them. Yeah, making them sour naturally without boiling. We just put fresh vegetables like cabbage, and we get something like sauerkraut, like kimchi. Actually, in Korea, many wild vegetables are preserved as kimchi. Probably from all the wild ones, the most common is dandelions. Yeah, it's very easy to see lacto-fermented dandelions in Korea. But you can also use other ones. Nettles don't come out very well. Nettles stink a bit when lacto-fermented. But for example, ground elder and other Apiaceae family species, they are quite okay. So you can also mix them. Maybe mix them with cabbage, then you get more familiar taste, like typical kimchi. But drying is the most archaic and simplest. During the Great Famine of China, 1959 to 1961, people told me they preserved a lot of wild vegetables, and it saved their life because they do contain some calories, and it makes a big difference if you have nothing to eat and if you can at least eat boiled wild vegetables. I hope this autumn and winter we are not in such crisis, but you never know. If you are bored, I think it's better to go around and collect nettles and preserve them rather than just going and looking up recent developments of coronavirus and counting how many people are infected. I think it's better to just do something useful, something which is very low impact, something which doesn't take your money away. It's not that even if these dried vegetables get wasted, you would waste your time anyway just sitting in front of your screen. So I hope you can use your time in this more useful and creative way, and also get some wild vegetable preserved.